I'm here today on July the 17th in a truly fascinating place. With me, Thomas Wilson, co-owner together with his wife of the Spirit Tree Estate Cidery. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. And you guys have created a unique business. Can you summarize for me once again what are the components of this business?
Sure. It's an eco-friendly building, and within it we've housed a cider mill where we're pressing fresh juice from local apples, including our own apples, of course. It's artisan bakery, farm market, so it's lots of Ontario produce, preserves, cheeses, and then an artisan bakery, of course, where we're baking true artisan European-style breads.
Let me show that actually. This is your oven, right?
That's right. That's a oven. It's 40 square feet in size. We can bake nearly 50 loaves in one loaf. And depending on the heat of the oven, the first breads in the morning take about 10 minutes to bake.
Wow, that's quick.
So very quick. We have to be very quick in the morning.
Yeah.
It's very hot.
So that is the hottest when you get started in the morning, and then it starts cooling down.
That's right. We're usually baking in a temperature range in the 700 degree range. And then the temperature is coming down because after we wood fired that oven, we've reached our temperature of baking, and then as fast as we're cleaning out and we start to bake, the temperature is coming down, so we have to move very quickly.
So how can you tell when, like, the baking times for your different rounds of baking are obviously different every time,
That's right?
That's right. How do you figure out when the baking is done?
It basically depends on the temperature of the oven, and we have to watch visually the bread.
Okay.
You listen when you bring bread out. Of course, you tap the bottom, you listen for that hollow sound.
Okay.
And then we also use thermal probes. We probe the bread to make sure we've reached about 180 degrees Fahrenheit internal temperature.
And that gives you the clues that this particular bread is done.
So it's a mix of new technology and old.
Yeah.
We have a readout there, so you can actually see the temperature.
456.
You can see that's from this morning's firing at 3 a.m. This oven is still 456 degrees.
Still at 456 degrees.
That's right.
That's amazing.
And then we have a laser thermometer, so we actually can shoot temperatures in the oven to make sure and look for hot spots.
Really?
And then we go back to old school. We actually take a handful of flour or cornmeal and we'll throw it out on the deck.
Okay.
And we'll see how quickly it burns. If it burns very quickly, the oven's too hot. But if it doesn't burn right away, we know that it won't burn the bread, and therefore we can start baking. So
now, I know your background is you've got a Bachelor of Arts, right?
That's right.
You don't come from a baking background. You don't come from a cider making background.
No.
How did you learn these very unique skills?
Through my wife and I both like to cook, so we're very into food and baking and cooking a lot. Farm background, so we did I grew up, my childhood was with my mom in the kitchen making jams and homemade bread and things like that. But we believe in education, my wife and I, so a lot of our vacations were edu-vacations.
I want to show something actually, because I saw some certificates on the wall.
That's right. So
we got to show them.
This is an example for our cider making. We went to Somerset, England to learn our first course, which was cider production.
Yes.
And the second course, which is an advanced course, we took in New York, in Geneva, New York, the Cornell Research Station.
Ah, I see. Now, I would love to see your baked goods as well. Now, these are all made here?
That's right. Everything is scratch made. Most of our breads are sour starters. The first bread here is a Normandy apple bread. So that's actually juice with a little bit of water and bread flour with apple and cinnamon.
Really?
Bread,
chunks of apple?
Chunks of apple.
You're kidding.
So it's a fruit bread.
Yeah.
This bread is a Normandy rye bread. So it's a natural rye starter. It's bread flour and rye flour, and then it's actually cider from our tanks in the basement. So it's fermented cider, and it's cider yeast, not baking yeast, that actually proofs that bread.
Isn't that interesting? And this is interesting. It's got a very dark crust.
Dark crust. That's a whole wheat. That is a red pipe. So that's an heirloom wheat variety, stone ground, with a natural starter and a touch of buckwheat honey.
Wow. Very interesting.
We're out of Boston Mills multigrain, so we have a multigrain, 13 cracked grains.
Okay.
We have a country French, bread flour, a touch of whole wheat flour, a touch of rye flour, and a natural starter. Nice. So it's almost a white bread, but it's not quite. It's very, very popular.
I can see that,
We have a Caledon sourdough. So this is a 2-day-old and a 1-day-old natural starter. So natural yeast, natural bacteria with bread flour. So not a really strong San Francisco sour, more of a Vermont, a light, very, very flavorful sour.
Nice. And then 2 types of baguette-like sticks
Baguette,
here.
sour baguette.
Sour baguette.
And then we have our rustic white.
Uh-huh.
So a true white bread, but it's smoke-proof with 2 pre-starters.
And it's such an interesting shape. I haven't seen this kind of shape on a bread.
At the round slash.
Okay.
Popped open.
Popped open, yeah. And then more baguette.
More baguette and pan loaves.
It's so interesting. I haven't seen this dark crust on a bread
Very
yet.
European style baking.
Yeah.
High temperature, natural caramelization. So there's no sugars added here. This is true French raw baking. This is sea salt, flour, and water.
Really? Very interesting. And of course we have interesting retail opportunities here as well. Lots of different types of products.
Lots of preserves, artisan. We have a lot of local artisans, breadboards, wood carvings, wooden bowls, walking sticks, gourmet preserves.
Yeah. Nicely displayed, and even some fruits and veggies.
Fruits, all Ontario produce.
And here's your cider.
That's
obviously.
our fresh juice.
Yeah, this is the fresh one,
Yeah.
the sweet one.
That's the sweet juice.
That's the one I love. Yeah.
Fresh pressed.
Great. Isn't that interesting? All sorts of wonderful
Quebec,
products
Ontario
you got
cheeses.
here. Yeah. Oh, so that's a cheese.
Yeah.
This is a cheese.
These are all cheese. That's goat cheese.
Goat cheese.
With either port and cranberries, or this is a tomato roasted red pepper.
Wow, very interesting. Let me show these 2 tables from the front here. We've got compotes with figs, apples, and nuts. Isn't that interesting? And then over on this table, a bread dipper. So where's this product from?
Same company, Wildly Delicious from Toronto.
Okay, so they make that. So different types of dipping oils with different flavors?
That's right.
Very nice. I love that.
Everything is related to the bread. So we try to create a true component.
You're setting a whole table.
That's right.
With the cider, with the bread, and the dipping.
We give you the beverage, we give you the bread, and then we give you the components to go with it, the cheeses and the oils and different things to
everything
make
you need.
True European meal.
Wonderful. Well, thanks so much for educating me a little bit about your retail offerings, and we're going to head into the tasting room in just a second.
Yes.
Thanks.